because if we're pounding our head against the wall to something we just can't change, what a waste of time and energy. Instead of saying, okay, I can't do this here, so then I need to step away from this and figure out what I can do. Hey y'all, welcome to Meryl's Mystic. I'm Meryl, and I empower witches, bitches, and dudes to complete themselves because you are the one that you are looking for. And today we're here to talk about Gemini season. Welcome, Gemini season. Now, Geminis are one of the top two, the other being Scorpio, signs that get a bad rap, and that is for many reasons. But I can tell you this, that whether you love or hate Gemini, they're memorable. You remember them. You know exactly who they are. And nobody ever said they were boring. Gemini's energy is fun and dynamic. It can be mysterious. It keeps you on your toes. And this Gemini season, once again, which happened a couple years ago, now I can't remember the year, sorry, that we are experiencing Mercury in retrograde in Gemini during Gemini season. Luckily, it has moved into Taurus, but it's been a lot of Gemini energy recently. As much as Gemini can get a bad rap, we need them. We need their energy to shake things up. Like all the signs, all the seasons, all the energies, it's here to teach us something. In Western astrology, the sun enters the sign of Gemini around May 20th, and it will stay there until the early morning hours of the 21st, depending on where you are in the world. Gemini is our mutable air sign, and so that coincides with the end of this natural season of spring, or the end of fall if you're in the southern hemisphere. Now, before I get into the reading, I am recording this on May 28th. I'm a little behind still getting caught up, and I had to take a couple days because of all the continued collective trauma and tragedies that we continue to experience in the States. I just wanted to acknowledge the atrocities that we're still experiencing, the atrocities that mothers and children and our communities of color are experiencing. I don't want to speak too much on that because I'm not that voice. I highly encourage you to find those voices and to find those resources and people that you can support. I will definitely link anybody that I follow and listen to. I will attach their Instagram handles. I definitely encourage you to seek out voices of Indigenous and Black women right now, because they're the ones that have been paying attention and know what's going on.
Please check out the list of Instagram handles for social justice voices and resources in the description below. If there is a social justice voice or resource you love to support that is not on the list, please reach out or comment. Thank you.
And for so many of us out there, anytime something like this collectively happens, automatically triggers your own personal trauma and tragedy and grief. So I just wanted to acknowledge you and tell you that your pain and whatever you've experienced is valid, and you are also worthy of healing from that, and you're also worthy of enjoying your life. I would like to encourage you to keep educating yourself and doing the work the best you can, if and when you can do it. I've noticed a pattern recently of a lot of coaches and influencers in such good intentions, well intentions, have started to use this phrase of, you just have to show up. You just have to keep going, be consistent. You just have to show up no matter how you feel. And the more I'm seeing it, the more it's starting to feel like the new Just gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Keep on going. And it's not as easy as that, especially if you are coming from a place of trauma, from grief, if you are working with mental illness, if you are having to take care of others. I encourage you to just try to be present in your world and to take care of yourself the best way you can. The times to not show up, if you can not show up, if you can't show up, is when your cup is empty. When you know that you're going into a toxic situation. When you are so depleted because you haven't had time to grieve. Those are the times when maybe you don't need to show up. Maybe taking care of yourself is far more important. And then you can show up. There will always be time to show up later. Because looking back in hindsight of the first year after I lost my brother and the first year after I lost my dad, in very abrupt ways, looking back, I don't know if I should have showed up to a lot of things that I showed up to, especially that first 6 to 9 months. I wasn't myself. And I probably said and did things that offended people or hurt their feelings, or they were like, who is this person? Why is she acting so weird? Because I was dealing with great trauma, and I was trying to just I need to do something, get back to my life. I should have been at home reading and taking more baths. The one thing I think they skip over a lot, because we have to do the work. We do. We have to educate ourselves. We have to work together to make sure that we're preventing horrible things that can be prevented. But you cannot do the work, you cannot show up if you are depleted, if your cup is empty, if you are not financially stable. You are not supposed to be putting yourself out in order to help somebody else. You are supposed to help yourself first, so then you can help others. It's a big part of why I'm trying to grow my business, so that I have the resources, financially and energetically, to make a bigger difference, to have a platform that can help with change. It starts with you. It starts with how you feel about yourself and your world and your life. And it ripples out from there. And things just keep happening that are completely outside of a lot of our control. And it's so easy to get discouraged, because on top of what's happening collectively, I know so many people out there who are experiencing personal setbacks and losses and hits and bad news. And I'm right there with you. I see you. I'm here for you. We're here together. And I just want to really encourage you to take care of yourself first. It's that old saying that, if you're on a plane, put your air mask on before you help those that you're with. But please do what you can when you can do it. Send a text, sign a petition. For a while there, I was really thinking those petitions weren't doing anything. And then a recent one that I signed to get a woman off of death row who was convicted of killing her child, wrongly convicted of killing her child. And I actually got to see an article a few days later that her the day that she was supposed to be executed, her execution was stayed. They delayed it to look at her case again. So there are people out there with the resources, with the ways that you can step up and help and contribute. And listen. So much of it is just listening. And then making sure that you're okay. So then when the time comes that you need to do something, you have all your capacities and all your resources to do it. Okay? That is the end of my PSA. I'm sending you so much love. But I've become nearly speechless about what's happening and where to go from here. So all I can do is share some resources with you of people that you should definitely go support. Seek out leaders. Seek out the voices of Black and Indigenous women. And be open for growth and listening. It gets discouraging because you see so many other people out there who have the resources who aren't doing anything, and I'm not going to get on a rant. I'm trying not to rant. The other thing I can do is offer you a little spiritual insight that might help you along your journey as you're navigating all these things, okay? Okay, so the Gemini new moon is early morning of the 30th. So the evening of the 29th or the 30th, you could do rituals for that. We're in retrograde season, so I manifest lightly. Mercury does go direct on June 3rd. But we will be in the post shadow until June 18th, which is just a couple days before Cancer season starts. And then June's Pride Month. That's why I got my rainbow hair. I realized that was the only color of hair I haven't done. And I've done it before on others, so I needed my own rainbow hair. Because we're here and we're queer. Okay. So the card that is associated with Gemini in the tarot is the Lovers. And the Lovers is actually our card for 2022 also, because it is the 6th card and we are in a 6th year. So the thing about the Lovers is that it is about like deep soul level, soulmate, soul group relationships. Not just romantic ones, even though it's called the Lovers, you know, which that messaging can really come through sometimes, that it's like lovers, soulmates, but other people in our lives that aren't romantic are also our soulmates: grandparents, parents, children, siblings, friends, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles. In any kind of relationship is usually there's some sort of soulmate connection there, because you're in each other's soul group. That's why you came here together, to be connected. And the thing about the Lovers also is and that's where it comes in with the Gemini energy, is this reflectiveness and the mirror image and being mirrors for each other. So the thing that the message for me, especially when the Lovers comes up, is about lessons from how we learn from each other, how so many of our soulmate relationships are meant to teach us something. And not all of our soulmates are, meant to stay in our lives forever. Some of them come into our lives just to teach us something. And when that lesson has been learned or that soul agreement has been fulfilled, the relationship is over and people move on. It doesn't make that connection any less than it was. It was still important and valid for you and your journey. when it comes up in reverse, it can mean unhealthy connections, toxic relationships, temptations, unfaithfulness. It actually, ironically, and I've said this in a couple videos, I'm going to make an extra video about it. In reverse, it would be, to me, it would be like the twin flame movement, because your twin flame, as I was taught, is a lot rarer than they say it is. I'm going to do a whole video on it. But you're not necessarily meant to be with that twin flame. There's a very toxic attachment that's been put into this ideology recently. And so it's being really aware of who you are as an independent person with another person, or in relationship in general, and how in reverse it could warn of codependency. And I think why there's this like kind of destined soulmate feeling about it is that the lovers are overlooked here by an archangel, and I cannot remember what angel that is supposed to be. Might be Michael or Uriel. Might be Uriel. I might have to look that up. There's something divine about it. It's divine, a divine symbolism, that it is beyond an earthly connection. Cool. Well, let's do the actual reading. So we're gonna do a lover's card reading with the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Sterle, and then we'll pull an oracle card. We'll see what we feel like when we get there. So you can do this at home for yourself. It's very easy to do. It can help tell you, you know, what the season is bringing to you personally. Go watch your tarot scopes for Taurus season. I think the tarot scopes I'm gonna shift from seasonal to monthly. I'm still gonna do these collective readings for each astrology season and the moon readings, but I think for the individual sign readings, it's gonna get switched to June, so those should be out soon, around the beginning of June. Okay, so the way I do it is when I turn my deck over, some people will keep this the bottom and this remains the top. I like to switch it. This is the top and this is the bottom. And I put that intention into it as I'm shuffling, so then I'm getting those clear messages. So then we go through, if you see me do this before, we go through the deck, and usually we have to go through the entire deck until we find the Lover's card for the season. Getting there, getting there. Really good. Oh, there it is. Okay. Ooh, and it's in reverse again. It's so funny. All the cards since we started the new astrology season has been reversed. And I think because of that, we're having to like even continue to turn inwardly even more, and really trying to like take responsibility for ourselves, and seeing how we treat ourselves and how that means we treat other people and all that good stuff. Okay, so I found our Lover's card here, and so we're looking at the card in front of it and behind it. So some people do that. This is the one in front of it, this one behind it, but I like to do it this way. It's easier. So we have the Lovers here in reverse. This is the Modern Witch Lovers. Look at them there. And then in front of our Lovers, we have the King of Wands in reverse. It goes, look at it this way. King of Wands. cute outfits. And then behind the lovers, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So a lot of internal stuff happening. And already, I think because of everything that's going on, it's really, everyone's really having to continue to reevaluate who they are internally and out in the world. Because I keep getting the reflective energy within the Lovers card.
Something happened that hasn't happened in a long time. The messages didn't come instantly, which was a message within itself. I had to sit, be patient, and listen. I wanted to share that these moments happen to the best of us. Also to recognize and remind you that I am still human. Both collectively and personally, the current emotional stress has made it challenging to trust and connect. I'm here for you and with you. We are not alone.
So first off, I'm looking at this and I noticed too that our cards that are flanking. Anyway, the Lovers card, the ones that are on either side of the Lovers card, they're actually looking towards each other, like across the lovers, because even the angel in the middle here is not looking forward like in the traditional card. They are looking to the side and have their eyes closed, and so I'm trying to pick up kind of what these reflections are trying to show us at this time. And with the King of Wands in reverse, there's very much like watching your ego. Because the King of Wands on their own is very magnetic and, you know, knows how to command a room. A lot of fire energy. I wanted to say Leo, Aries energy. But the thing about it in reverse is this holding on to parts of your ego that are not serving you. So I feel like it's when, like, it feels like it's in moments when you are reacting to someone else, having to examine your part in it, having to examine how your reaction is coming from your ego. It feels like holding on to something. Like holding on to this thing. What is it? What's the thing? Because it's like looking at how you what part your ego is playing. Because you're not just your ego. You can let yourself be driven by your ego when you ignore your intuition, but you want a combination of your ego and your intuition, because your ego is still there to keep you safe and to protect you. So that's why, like, we get defensive and then we get in our ego. It just, her little face is just like, or there, I probably should say their little face. They're probably not, it looks like a non-binary person. Just, and the last time this came up too, I was drawn to the fist, and then the face is very much like, I'm right, and it's you may be right, you might be right, you probably are right, but what is holding on to that and holding and basically grasping to it from a place of your ego, letting your ego grasp onto it, how is that serving you? Is that helping you at all? Because then with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, then this is where we're reviewing how we react with the world and how the world reflects back to us. How we see the world in a lot of ways is how we think the world is. It's very much that feeling or that saying, that ideology theory about that your world is a reflection of your thoughts and your feelings. And it is to a certain point. But with where we are evolutionary wise and where we are time wise and how we're in modern society, we are still living in reminiscence. We're still living in remnants. I know words of how our ancestors viewed the world and how the colonizers viewed the world. There's been a disconnect for so long that we're kind of, I think that's why we're going through such a huge transition, or it's part of why we're going through such a huge transition as a collective, as Earth, on Earth, is that we're trying to correct these views of how the world is from how society at large and the patriarchy have shaped it. And we're like, wait a second, this isn't lining up with how I feel. And a lot of people will say, well, then you need to change how you feel inside, you need to change how you think. And that's part of it, yes. But we also have to recognize where you just have no control over it. And then you have to recognize what you do have control over. And it's interesting because I feel like one of the Gemini videos in the last year, the Serenity Prayer came up, and that's kind of what this makes me think of, is like you have to figure out what you can change, what you cannot change, and the awareness, the courage, the openness to tell the difference. Because if we're pounding our head against the wall to something we just can't change, what a waste of time and energy. Instead of saying, okay, I can't do this here, so then I need to step away from this and figure out what I can do. It's feeling like I don't think we realize how much power we have. I want to say that differently. We are all getting more connected to what power we have, that we have to first believe that we have the power just to change things that can be changed, because there's also the other side of the coin of accepting that some things just are what they are in that moment, but recognizing that the future is always in motion. It might not be changeable in that moment, but it could be changeable down the road. And I keep going back to the best advice my mom ever gave me, and that is, when you don't know what to do nothing. Because if you force yourself to do something, you force a decision, and you didn't know that was the right one. And yes, there are times where we have to take chances, but I'm talking in a reflective sense, in getting a little quiet too. This is feeling it was weird. I had to sit here for a minute, and I'll probably cut it out because it was a long pause. If you notice edits, it's usually super long pauses when I'm just connecting with the energy. coughing, needing a drink of water, or burping. Because that's what happens when you talk a lot. Ask any voice actor. So when I was trying to tap into this energy, I heard quiet. Not literally the word quiet, like it was like silence. And it was weird because normally if I don't think I'm getting anything, I can sometimes get like a little panicky. But I didn't feel that. It was just silence and waiting and patience. Trusting that the answers were gonna come in the right time. And it was okay if I sat there for a little bit in the quiet. The quiet is trying to also empower you to listen to your intuition, to get connected to your guides, to your higher power, to the universe, to nature, to Mother Earth, the ultimate higher power, the earth, the ground, the planet. But again, getting in touch with your intuition, starting here. It all starts here. I'm reading Many Lives, Many Masters. And there was a message that came through from this great masters, the great spirit masters, that so much of our mission on earth is to connect to each other, and that we have to be careful to not only be attracted and connected to people that are our same vibration, which, yes, there's a lot of that messaging being delivered, because you should have people that are your people. And in the last decade or so, we've gotten more disconnected from each other. And the masters were saying that it is also important to try to connect with people who might not be the same vibration, who might not be on the same page. And in this day and age, that doesn't mean that you have to sit there and talk about all your differences and disagree openly about a bunch of stuff. You can quietly know that you disagree on certain things, and you can still be kind and respectful and recognize that that is another person, a human. Now, this is not to excuse people being abusive, because I know that in a lot of these discussions in the last year or so, in the last 5 years or so, and these frictions and arguments and disagreements can bring out the worst in people. And those are also the times where you just need to throw your hands up and step back. Because so much right now, just in general, Mercury retrograde, people talking too much seems to be getting them in trouble. We need to get a little decorum, and just a little bit of understanding and acceptance. But that does not mean that you let your boundaries down. This is about finding a healthy balance between keeping your boundaries up and being cordial, at least, to each other. Because that's more important for our collective vibration, is not going around trying to change each other. It's trying to just accept that person where they are, or just try to meet them where they are. And trying to let go of that ego and let go of the defensiveness. And literally, it's like, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything right now. Like, we're going back to kindergarten rules because things are such a mess. And if we're all just running around with, like chickens with our heads cut off, nothing will actually get accomplished. I just want to be clear, though, that you have to be in the right place. You have to have your capacities. You have to have your resources in order to do something, in order to show up for yourself, for your life. This is about making sure that you're taking care of yourself first. The last thing I got is, it's not a time to be really looking for new opportunities. Also, with this Page of Pentacles, you know, maybe it's hard to meet somebody where they are because you don't know where you are. You need to find some solid ground for yourself first, okay? You need to be in a good place, in a better place, before you can help others. I feel like this is a theme that keeps coming up. The last time it was, why are you trying to pour your cup with an empty cup? So the top bottom of the deck was the Two of Pentacles. So trying to find that healthy balance between boundaries and forgiveness. And truly, there's so much right now that people, like, we're trying to push to do. And I get it. Some of us need that push. A lot of us need some rest and recharge and reconnection and quiet. And then the next card, which was under the Page of Pentacles, is the Everything is Fine card, also in reverse, which is the Ten of Swords. You can't do anything for anybody when this is where you're at. And I just feel like we want so badly to be okay. We want so badly to be capable and to be able to do things and handle things and create things and produce and go and, you know, live and heal and do all the things. How? How do you do that when this is where you're at? So if this is where you are, how do we help that? Well, right after that is the Six of Cups in reverse, just looking ahead a little bit, nurturing, healing, nurturing your inner child. Some people just need to go have some fun. Get out of the house, go for a walk, go see a movie, do something. Sometimes the fun is just as healing, okay? Okay, let's pull an oracle card. But which oracle card shall we pull? Let's do the energy oracle. I was getting more pulled to that. This is by Sandra Ann Taylor, Energy Oracle. Oop, are we upside down here, boys and girls? Oh no, these ones have reverses. Please let me know if anything's resonating with you, what's resonating with you, if you need any extra support right now. All my links will be attached below all of the Instagram resources I'll be listing. I think it's that one. Ooh, oh, financial constraints in reverse. Financial constraints. So many of us are being affected by this. Everything's more expensive. Even the basics are just ridiculously overpriced, and I'm not gonna rant. I'm not gonna do it. Hold my roll and I. Okay. Financial constraints, and it was in reverse. Restrictions concerning money. This card shows an old-fashioned safe with little money but lots of cobwebs and dust. Reverse, this card pretends an increase in the money about to come your way. Hey! The previous constrictions have broken open and there's a greater flow of money and other things. As more funds come in, you'll find that you have the freedom to take more risks and spend without the previous extreme precautions. The river of abundance is starting to flow your way, but don't be too cavalier. Always bring your consciousness to this and every aspect of your life. So the abundance is coming. So it's kind of like gathering your strength now, gathering your resources, figuring out when you have the resources, how you can help, how you can contribute, what you want to do. Always bring your consciousness to this and every aspect of your life. I think that's most important here too, is that we're being so tested. Our trust and our patience in things. The affirmation: I can move through any cycle with dignity and awareness. I am open to receiving increasing wealth. Money moves to and through my life, bringing benefits to all. I can move through any cycle with dignity and awareness. I'm open to receiving increasing wealth. Money moves to and through my life, bringing benefits to all. Maybe that's why this Page of Pentacles is coming up in reverse too, that a lot of stuff going on is just creating such like financial worry for everybody also. And I think too, this card upright also speaks to needing to make sure that your finances are in order, that you know what your money's doing in order for it to grow. And this is one of your resources. They say money can't buy happiness, but it sure can buy comfort and healthcare. And it can make a difference in a lot of people's lives. And the more we can attract that abundance and accept that it's okay to have that money, the more we can move it and save it and invest it, and then also give it away to organizations and communities that need it, that we can help fix or we can help change for the better. I will also tag a friend of mine who is a money coach and a wealth coach. And if you are somebody out there who is lucky enough to have wealth or inheritance and you want to do good things with it, she is the person that will help you figure out how to invest in the right things that are making a difference in this world. Okay, so she will be linked below also. Things are so heavy right now, y'all. So heavy. I'm feeling it. So I'm sure you are too. It's okay. It's okay to feel how you're feeling right now. Okay. Take a deep breath in your nose. Hold it out your mouth. Relax your shoulders if you can. Anytime you're having a rough time, make sure you're not holding your breath. Keep taking those deep breaths. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. And go check out the rest of my videos. The new moon video will be out next. You can go watch your tarot scopes for Taurus season. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.